ISC team for giving such wonderful presentations and help us in catching up with time in this winter morning. We are running 15 minutes late. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. But now the next presentation will be given by Professor Amrendra, Professor in charge of Technopark. I request him to kindly take it further.
So we are okay. So then you have some other one. Yes. Laptop में C. तुम्हारे वाले में भी इसका चार्जिंग केबल
We have one pen drive also.
Yeah.
C port चाहिए. C port for that laptop. इसी में ही आप कर दीजिए. Yeah.
ये कर लीजिए.
We can project.
Yes, sir, we can.
Just yes.
So it's duplicated. Where is your presentation?
Which are the things that in this one? Is this the pen drive?
No. Pen drive is not coming.
Then no, the pen drive is not getting connected. I think from Professor Singh's laptop only we can use the C port. No, this pen drive is somehow not
Pen drive is not coming. This.
connecting to the device. So please open your laptop.
Present from here.
हाँ.
Pen drive is not
The C port. The C port.
C. हाँ, लैपटॉप में पेन ड्राइव.
एक साइड में केबल लग जाता है,
हाँ
इधर केबल लग जाता है.
इससे नहीं
ये
होगा।
एक्चुअली पेन ड्राइव नहीं चल रही थी आपकी.
पेन ड्राइव ये वाली लगा लीजिए, तो दूसरी
इसको
प्रेजेंटेशन इसमें है ना एक्चुअली. एक मिनट देख लेते हैं.
I think I will handle from here.
हाँ, ये आ गया पेन ड्राइव. इट्स वर्किंग.
What is working?
Pen drive is working now. Previously it was having issue. So
it's Reunion 1980.
yeah. I have
For the
taken.
safety, you copy it on the desktop.
Yeah, that I have done.
Where is the
This
presentation?
mic you can put it in front of this mount.
Where is the presentation?
This one only, no?
1989. This one.
ये वही कर रहा हूँ एक्चुअली. So it's ready.
इसको लैपटॉप को थोड़ा और इधर कर दीजिए, इससे माइक से.
People outside,
ये इसमें चल रहा है.
you just announce it.
I request everyone to kindly settle down. Requesting the audience to kindly settle down. Professor Amrendra will soon start the presentation.
Okay, good morning. Okay, so welcome to IIT Kanpur. Welcome back to IIT Kanpur. I would give you a brief presentation on IIT Kanpur Research and Technology Park Foundation, Techno Park at IIT Kanpur in short. This is a Section 8 company meant for companies to put up their own small office inside our campus. And this building that you are seeing here, it's a 6-story building right in front of NCC, where we used to have NCC earlier. So in front of NCC, we have this new facility. It's about 2.4 lakh square feet, 6-floor building, out of which 1.5 lakh square feet is a rentable space. And Technopark is a Section 8 company which was created in 2019. And this building that you are seeing here, and if you get a chance to see in the campus in the real place you can visit, about 1.5 lakh is the rentable space, and already many companies have come and put up their R&D, or small companies have even put up their manufacturing units right inside here. So this is the board of directors, which is chaired by Professor Maninder Agrawal, and then we have DD, Dean R&D, and Professor in charge. They are ex officio members of the board, and Professor GM Kamath is ex-PIC, and he's also a board member. And Mr. Lalit Jalan and Mr. Abnish Avasthi, they are external board of directors to this particular company. Vision is to basically foster industry IIT Kanpur collaboration by promoting co-development of cutting-edge technology, leveraging the core competence of IIT Kanpur. And this all, IIT Madras started their research park way back, and they have now about 5 times the size that we have here. IIT Madras, IIT Bombay, IIC Bangalore, also IIT Hyderabad, they have locational advantages. But as you will see, we are following a model in which we are able to attract people, and it will soon be possible to go for the next phase, looking at the success of this particular phase. So there, I think that there will be a lot of inputs that we will be requiring for you. Your also suggestions will help us how to expand, because there are challenges out there. I would briefly mention that there are, because of nature of industrial problems, it's not department-wide actually. We have segmented it sector-wide. So we have presence in defense and aerospace, pharma and healthcare, infrastructure, transportation, agriculture, electronics, chemicals. And some examples are there in all of these. And then also there are horizontal things like sustainability, cyber security, artificial intelligence, precision equipment, which runs across various sectors actually, okay. This is the engagement model that we have. There are basically 3 types of models that we have. We have innovators categories where your physical presence is needed here. And there are 3 categories in that. If your turnover is less than 1 crore, company's turnover is less than, then it is rupees 33 per square feet. If it is between 1 and 10 crores, then it is rupees 44 per square feet. And if it is greater than 10 crores, then it is 55 per square feet. If you just compare this with IIT Madras, for example, that's 110 rupees per square feet flat actually. There is no concession there. There is also a virtual membership where you are depending on your turnover, again, you pay an annual fee of 1 lakh, 2 lakh or 3 lakhs respectively. And now we are working on a consortia mode where consortia poses a challenge and IIT Kanpur responds in some way to solve that. There are many problems like, for example, carbon footprint and so on, which industry in general would be looking for some kind of solution, and all of them will benefit if something comes out. And for that, we are trying to work out a consortia mode also. This is in the process of. So there are some center of excellence coming in, and we also will be looking at. the most important thing for us is that how do you engage with IIT Kanpur and what is the measure of that actually, engagement actually. So this is the way we want to engage with industry. So if you are here, then first of all, you have to earn 100 coins. Coin is a word that we have done for this actually, KOIN. 100 coins is mandatory per 1,000 square feet. And how do you earn that coin actually? So earning that coin is that it could be that you are paying 10 lakhs rupees per 1,000 square feet per annum as a research project. That will earn you 100 coins. Or the same thing, the same money will earn you 125 if it is a consultancy project. If you are buying IIT Kanpur's patents, then there is a coin for that. A sponsor PhD students, a sponsor MTech student, joint PhD, joint MTech, joint BTech, teaching by your professional to IIT Kanpur, IIT Kanpur professional to you, continuing education expenses, part-time employment of IIT Kanpur, full-time employment. All of these will earn you coins actually. And it is mandatory that you have to have 100 coins per 1,000 square feet to justify your presence in Technopark actually. So that's the model that we are trying to follow here. Some of the highlights actually, so we have about 400 plus industry connects, 200 plus industry interactions. Total members are 34 so far, out of which, this is a dynamic model. So currently we have 21 members. And this gives you roughly, the unoccupied part is not shown here, which is about 20% of a space is not occupied so far. But all others are occupied, and so of which there are different categories actually, as you can see. So for example, we have, this is the enablers actually sector. So like we have cyber security center of excellence in Technopark. And then there is another COE in case of smart cities that is also coming up at Technopark, so that's enabler. We have a lot of presence in healthcare basically. Laurus Lab is one of the biggest customer. We have a lot of MSMEs that have taken up, and I think total of 7.6% space is towards MSMEs. And our own system generate, like you saw presentations from our startups. Some of them graduate and go on to become member of Technopark actually, to further their journey. And there are examples like 2 of them have come from SIIC and they are now full-fledged member. And also one of them have come from C3 Hub that also incubates a lot of companies. They also become part of our journey actually, okay. So there are companies actually where, like for example, if we see R&D projects, all these companies have given projects to IIT Kanpur actually. This goes directly to our Dean R&D actually, okay. So this also includes pioneer members. They are running projects with different faculty members, and they are also like full-time employment. 33 alone has been taken, 30 has been taken by Merai. They are in an AI tech company. They are right here, and they have taken a lot of people. We have joint publications, and we also have 2 defense testing infrastructure that has come through. UPIDA was playing a defense corridor, decided to have 6 labs, 3 in Tamil Nadu defense corridor, and 3 in UP defense corridor, out of which UP defense corridor decided to establish 2 labs at IIT Kanpur, and this is now established at Technopark actually. So one is in UAS and another one is in communication. The idea of this defense testing lab is to help MSMEs test their equipment, whatever they are building actually, and this is a common facility. So they are putting up around 60 to 70 crores of worth of equipment here, and they will have their own running team here, and MSMEs can come and benefit. And of course, MSMEs can then come and benefit from IIT Kanpur system as well, actually. Okay. This is the list of companies that you have. So I mentioned you large companies like Merai, Maral Aerospace, Laurus Labs. Then we have MTX, Trickle Tech, Skylab, AVPL, Merai, Lenec. All these companies have set up. Some of the way we have interacted with them and not yet part, like for example, Sale, Bale. We have interacted with them, identify certain areas, and they are in the pipeline. We also have JK Siemens, JK Fenner, and Aditya Birla. They are virtual members actually, but they have good traction with our IIT Kanpur ecosystem. Okay. The so this is the list of faculty members who are mentors to Technopark. Okay, so as IIT Kanpur is transitioning towards translational research, and we expect that 1/3 of faculty members will be engaged in translational research, we would love to have one company of our own liking within Technopark, which is in our distance. That will be the vision, actually. So this particular list, I mean, you can see that this Technopark will accommodate only about 25 faculty members at the most. And if we do it well, actually, there is a chance that we can make 8 such Technoparks to accommodate our own internal demands, actually. The challenge is that first one came where IIT Kanpur had given the land, and MHRD had given the grant to make the building, actually. And therefore, you are able to bring down the cost per square feet to a reasonable level. The next time when you go, they'll say that earn your own money and build this, actually. So that will be basically through loan. And also you have to pay for the land cost as well as for the loan that you will take to make the buildings and then run the show. Basically, there are different models that we are thinking. Like, for example, state governments, if they would be providing the land, then we think about giving a floor to them for MSMEs connected with the state, or defense comes up and says that we would expect to contribute towards building this, then we give a floor like IT Delhi has done for their own Technopark, and there are varieties of ways by which we can engage there, actually. Okay. This is a small team that we have at Technopark, and I'd be very glad to answer if you have any queries, and look forward to your suggestions and advice. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So instead of like, so this is a very good question, and this keeps coming, that if I am a company, I have a problem, I can give you a research grant, I can be offline, and I will help do the same thing as, if I have to visit a company which requires my presence in their campus, I would look for the vacation, whether it's a mid-sem recess or it's a summer vacation or it's a winter vacation, what is the convenient time for me to visit that, actually. So if there is a particular problem which is in the process where you require deeper engagement with faculty member and their team, then it is ideal to have your place here, actually. And most of the time what we are looking for people here is that you take something which is done at lab scale, use this space to take it to pilot scale. And during the pilot scale journey, you will require deeper engagement with the faculty member, and person can take a class in the morning, can spend afternoon in your office engaging with your client. During the interactions, you can also see that I have certain facilities that I have built of our own in the lab, but I need to push certain things back to IIT Kanpur. So that advantage will be there, that you are back and forth, you are coming back to IIT Kanpur. Besides being part of the system, you have advantage of leveraging IIT Kanpur ecosystem in terms of facilities that we provide you at the same cost as we faculty ourselves take, actually. So all the lab facilities are available to you at the same cost. You can use our high compute facility at the same cost. And besides each technology, it would not just require the faculty concern, it may require some other expertise, and which better place than IIT Kanpur that you can leverage to. So I hope I have answered. Yeah. If you are paying the money for that particular project, you know that what ways IP sharing happens, actually. So if you are asking that this should be exclusive, there will be a cost associated with it. The project cost will go up. You will own that. If it is in sharing mode, you are sharing the risk, then it will be a joint IP. So it depends on what kind of model you want to follow, and there will be a cost associated with, but that is very, very much flexible. We have an IP office, we can generate that. That's very much. So I think that that's the first assumption that we are taking, is that this is not about basic research actually. Okay, the first fundamental problems for any applied problem that we are attacking, we assume that the fundamental problem you have already solved, you have already published. So this is a translational space, but even in translational space, there is a scope for patents, there is a scope for further publications, but because it is of company's interest, you can have the tie that I would like to first have the exclusive rights, or I would like to go through what you are going to publish and so on, so that you will protect yourself actually. So that goes with all the. Yeah. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, so thank you very much. Me and my team, Dr. Piyashi Malik is here, and if you have any questions, and we are right in the campus, as I told you, in just besides NCC office, and you are most welcome to visit us for further interactions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We'll soon start the session, director session now.
इसमें पड़ी हुई है यहाँ पे जो फोल्डर है
Good morning, everyone. A very happy and prosperous new year to everyone. Welcome to the 35th reunion of class of 1989. I request everyone to kindly keep your mobiles on silent or flight mode, and to please avoid any kind of movement in the hall during the event. I, Shweta Kumar, your host for this morning, extend a warm welcome to all of you on behalf of Professor Manindra Agarwal, Director ID Kanpur, and the entire institute community. Today marks the 35th reunion of the class of 1989, a truly significant occasion. It brings me immense joy to share that we recently celebrated 65 glorious years of the institute's foundation. I would now like to request Professor Amay Karkare, Dean Resources and Alumni, to kindly come forward and be seated on the stage. Requesting Mr. Vivek Mudgil, Batch Coordinator, Class of 1989, to kindly take his seat on the stage. Requesting Mr. Harsh Vinayak, Batch Representative, Class of 1989, to please come forward. I would now like to request Professor Manindra Agarwal, Director ID Kanpur, to kindly come forward and be seated. I now humbly request all our guests present on stage to please come forward for the ceremonial lighting of the lamp, which symbolizes knowledge and wisdom. Mr. Vinayak. ॐ शुभं करोति कल्याणं आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते. The light serves as a reminder of the pursuit of knowledge and symbolizes abundance, prosperity, dispelling darkness and ignorance. Thank you, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, reunion is not about counting the number of years. Rather, it's about reliving and cherishing memories and time to be grateful for the beautiful journey you had as a student of IIT Kanpur. Time may have zoomed by, but I can still see the youthful spark alive in all of you. So why don't we begin today by reliving our old days and becoming rowdy students once again? Shall we?
We have already started.
So I request everyone to kindly stretch your hands and then cross it and then clasp it. Maybe like that. Yeah, you're doing right. Yeah, you're doing. And then flip it. Welcome to the 35th reunion of class of 1989. How many of you could do it? There's a trick to that. Okay. So now, may I request you to clap 3 times and count at the count of 3 and then shout 35 as loud as you can. Shall we? At the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. See, I heard alumni of this batch have come all the way from US, Kuwait, and different parts of India. And there were many who planned to come but couldn't make it, maybe from UK. Let your voice reach them at the count of 3 with lots of josh. Come on. Better than before. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me take you on a short trip down the memory lane. 39 years ago, 250 young boys and 8 girls from across India decided to embark on a challenging journey away from the comforts of their home all the way to a city named Kanpur, now named Kanpur, to be a part of this prestigious institute called IIT Kanpur. As you arrived with your personal baggage, the institute welcomed you with open arms, and it offered you a unique package, a package comprising of prestigious foundation, integrity, pride, and an enduring, unbreakable bond. सारे जवाब देने गूगल तो अभी आया है, असंभव को संभव आईटी ने करके दिखाया है. कहते हैं इंस्टीट्यूट है अनेक, दिल्ली, मुंबई, मद्रास, खड़गपुर, लेकिन आईआईटी है सिर्फ एक. आईआईटी, आईटी का टेम्पो, आईटी का टेम्पो, आईटी का टेम्पो. थैंक यू. चाय कुछ 1 रुपए की थी, विल्स 5 रुपए की और ओल्ड मॉन्क्स 40 रुपए की. 1.5 रुपए में रिक्शा आईटी गेट से हॉस्टल तक पहुंचा देता था और नींबू पानी 2 रुपए में मिल जाता था. ट्यूशन फीस 250 रुपए की थी और महीने का मेस बिल 150 रुपए का. It was an era of Shammi Kapoor, Amitabh, Rekha, Madhuri, Juhi, and Khans just entered the industry, giving big hits like Maine Pyar Kiya, Qayamat Se Qayamat Tak, Dil, and many more. Johnny Mera Naam was a blockbuster. Famous songs that asked for maximum number of repeats was Pyar Hame Kis Mode Par Le Aaya, Neele Neele Ambar Par, Husn Ke Lakhon Rang. Chungfa, Chungi, Futu, Makhan Singh, and Yoka Butter Chicken was famous. Red Rose in Campus and Lala Canteen Ka Hakka Chow, as well as Maggie with fried egg on top, was a big hit. Gate से हॉल 2 तक 4 स्पीड ब्रेकर्स होते थे. IT bus and Ganesh ji ka tempo were most usually means of transport. MT ki chai was always special, and famous jargons at the Adda point were Fatru, Fudda, Maggu, Fakka, Syud, Telu, and the most famous, Bakat. Movies in L7 on Saturday and Sunday night was major attraction, and the most common phrase used during movie time was audio, repeat, and cricket, Chitrahar, Ramayan, World This Week, Hum Log were major attraction that would keep TV room occupied. Young Sachin's batting would bring cheers in the room, whereas his wicket down would bring hours of mourning and drinking. आपने जगह जगह बनारसी पान और चौरसिया पान तो यूपी में देखा व सुना ही होगा, लेकिन कैंपस की गलियों में तो तिलकधारी तिवारी पान का खाता ही चलता था. The rivalry between Hall 2 and Hall 3 was a constant source of amusement. From cultural festivals and sports to creative gali competition during blackouts, to stealing fuses and even competing for maximum visibility in the girls' hostel, the battle of supremacy knew no bounds. इससे अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी की 2 पंक्तियां याद आती हैं. कौरव कौन, कौन पांडव, टेढ़ा सवाल है, दोनों ओर फैला शकुनी का कूट जाल है. कहते हैं मंदिर में अगर बंदर आए तो हनुमान जी आए हैं. इस कनेक्शन के बारे में तो सबको पता है, लेकिन गॉड नोज एलुमनाई मीट और तेंदुए के बीच में क्या है कनेक्शन? पिछले 3 साल से हर बार इस समय आ जाता है बनाने अपना विंटर वेकेशन, दैट टू विदाउट एनी इनविटेशन. होगा उसका आप लोगों के साथ कोई पुराना अफेक्शन. Just wanted to let you know that the leopard is moving around the campus, so just be alert and careful while roaming in the campus, especially at night. Ladies and gentlemen, this was an honored batch to see the famous personalities like Pankaj Das, Talat Aziz, Hari Prasad Chaurasia, Khushwant Singh, Nani Palkiwala, Bhupendra Mitali, and Pinaj Mishani visit the campus during their stay. A studious batch to still remember the electrifying lectures of Professor Ramendra Singh, Professor Vijay Gupta, Professor P.R.K. Rao, Professor R.N. Biswas, Professor Sudhir Jain, Professor Sangal, Professor Barun Banerjee, and Professor C.V.R. Murthy. An explorative batch to go for the industrial tour to Chennai, Secunderabad, Bombay, and Goa. Goa? Industrial tour? Still an unsolved mystery. The class of 1989 holds a unique place in IIT history, as it is only one of the 2 batches who didn't have a convocation. A sport-loving batch whose showed sportsmanship brightly when Mr. Rohit's stunning 6 in the last ball clinched the cricket gold trophy in inter-IIT, and our athletic star, Mr. Ajay Chauhan, delivered an unforgettable moment. Mr. Ajay Chauhan delivered an unforgettable moment by running backwards after securing a comfortable lead in 400-meter race to cheer on fellow participants and won us a gold medal. These iconic feats took place at the inter-IIT meet hosted in Chennai, where IIT Kanpur emerged victorious in cricket and athletics, bringing immense pride and laurels to the institute. Last but not
Swimming too. प्रदीप भार्गव को नहीं भूल सकते.
Last but not least, a blessed batch. Because 250 लड़कों में 2 ही लड़के काबिल निकले, as 2 girls chose their life partner here. But wait, there is more. This batch didn't just stop at romantic partnerships. Oh no. They leveled up and gave us something even bigger. AIR1, IS toppers, CEOs, and distinguished leaders. These brilliant minds went on to serve the nation as RBI governor, telecom secretary, technical education secretary, and beyond, making an enduring impact on society. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear for these visionaries, innovators, and trendsetters who not only cracked codes and aced exams, but also cracked the code to success and teamwork. A big round of applause for the class of 1989. I would now recall some of the unique nicknames of the class of 1989. I kindly request everyone who are here to acknowledge by raising their hands. Guruji, Kholu, Lambu, say it 6-6. Chow, GK, Bulla, Gurra, Bandru, Pusa, Mungfali, Mukru, Stud, just to name a few. Well, we have also come up with Z, is that correct? Well, we've also come up with the reunion titles. I request everyone to kindly guess. Ramanujam of the batch. Yes, Mr. Shreesh Jadhav. Library ka chaukidar. Mr. Shalabh Chandra. Is he here? Sant Kabir of the batch. It again goes to Mr. Shri Jadhav. Lady killer of the batch. I have it here, Mr. Bharat Kalyanpuri. Is he here? Huh? Dawn of the batch. Mr. Rohit Verma. This is all I have from the treasure of memories of class of 1989. I hope I got my facts right. I would like to conclude by 2 lines on friendship. दोस्ती में कर्ज कभी ड्यू नहीं होता और दोस्तों में कभी MOU नहीं होता. On this beautiful day, let's all remember to laugh, share fond memories, and make new memories that we can talk about in our next reunion. Thank you so much. I would now request Professor Amay Karkare, Dean of Resources and Alumni, to kindly address the gathering. Thank you.
Hello everyone, welcome to IIT Kanpur. I am Amey Karkare, Dean of Resources and Alumni. And you should be getting emails from me. If not, make sure you whitelist the email address that I will show at the end or at IITK domain. And at the same time, also check that the email registered with IIT Kanpur is not something that you have created on Gmail just to receive junk mails. Okay, you should be opening it. All right, so I will be talking about engagement activities that DORA office and other entities do, but in the interest of time, I will try to go a little faster because I think we'll spend more time on director's vision after my talk. I would like to show your batch has quite a few distinguished award winners. And 4 of them are here: Prashant Jain, Shirish Jadhav, K.M. Abraham, and Pradeep Bhargav. So a big round of applause for them. They are keeping your batch's tempo high. And we expect that more people will join this list soon. So when we talk about DORA office or alumni engagement, there are 3 different entities, 3 pillars of engagement, I call them. One is DORA office, which is an administrative office, which does lot of back office things and maintains records and other things. So that comes under a Dean of Resources and Alumni. That currently I am the one, and I am from 1998 class, so 9-year junior to you. And all the reminiscence that Shweta was talking about, I was reminded of my school days. For you, it was college days. The other entity is Alumni Association. Again, it's an independent body which where all the alumni are supposed to be members, more than 43,000 now. And here the president is an elected member. So currently Mr. Rakesh Sharma is the president of Alumni Association, and some members are here. I will show you the team members later. And the third body, which is comparatively very young body, it is IIT Kanpur Development Foundation, established in 2020. So it's a entity, Section 8 company, which is focused on engagement with alumni as well as generating funds for the institute. So we have Kapil, who is the CEO of Development Foundation. I don't see him here right now, but he's there. Okay. So Kapil is there. Yeah. All right. So these are the 3 entities, and again, though there are 3 different entities for logistic reasons, we all work together to bring alumni back to institute, give them the feeling that you are getting now, emotional. Okay, so here are few activities. The most important activity that we do is reunion. You are part of 35th reunion. So last few years, the number of reunions have increased substantially. So last year we hosted 10 reunions. This year also we are hosting 10 reunion and 1 get together. So a lot of people come here, 700 plus alumni were engaged in last year. More than 1,200 people joined, that means family of these people, and we get some very good feedback, and I hope you are also enjoying your time. This year also we have planned 10 reunions for whatever reason. Oh, okay. And we are at the 3rd one for this year. This is 35th reunion of 1989. You can see our calendar is quite full, and so far we have couple of reunions. I think it's slightly cold so far, and 2024 have come together. So 1969 and 1999. So 1999 was the biggest reunion so far. Before that, 1998, my batch was biggest reunion. So more than 450 people came on campus and had a fun 3 days. 182 alums and 450 total number of packs. So along with reunions, number of increased reunions, we have started a few new initiatives in last couple of years. So this year we started with what we call Distinguished Alumni Meet, where we are asking some of our, inviting distinguished alumni to come for a 1-day retreat, and we discuss with them the vision for IIT Kanpur, take their feedback, how can we become number 1 once again. And this year we had 2, one in Goa and one in New York. So both of them were very well received. We got a lot of input from them. As you will see in director's presentation, some of these inputs will be discussed. Other than Distinguished Alumni Meet, where we are inviting certain people, we also have this general alumni meet in different cities called Karwan, IIT Karwan. And Karwan started a couple of years back. We have 2 Karwans in US, and one in Singapore, one in Australia. So this year also, in October, we had 20-day long trip in USA where we visited New York, Washington, DC, Chicago, Seattle, and San Francisco, and engaged with more than 500 alumni in US itself. Looking at the success of IIT Karma, people were very positive about it. So we started at our home ground, Karma in India, just couple of weeks back from 13, 14, 15 December. So one in Mumbai, one in Bangalore, one in Delhi. Again, we engaged more than 500 alumni all over these cities. And our plan is to grow this Karma and cover more cities. Again, we discuss with alumni their feedback and we talk about our vision. So the goal of all this is that how to motivate alumni to give back to the institute. So giving back can be in terms of time. So for this, we have what is called Alma Connect. So if an alumni is near Kanpur, around Kanpur, or sometimes even on VC, we conduct alumni session where the alumni addresses students of the institute. Depending on the interest, it can be department specific or some club specific or open to all. So we have engaged more than 2,000 students in these sessions where more than 40 alumni have conducted the session and talked about different, so these alumni can be entrepreneur, IAS officer, general academician, or anybody who wants to share their insights. And we have what is called Alumni Inspired Mentorship started this year in 2024. When I said this year, it will be 24. It takes some time to transit to 2025. We conduct what is called Alumni Inspired Mentorship, where an alumni can mentor 5, 6 students at a time. So this is more focused approach. So we have started it where you can register and then kind of tell students about the areas where you want to mentor them, and then students also come on this platform and we connect them, alumni with the mentor. So already 40 alumni have been engaged and more than 440 students are on this platform who are getting some kind of motivation or guidance from these alumni. In terms of resources, you can give back for many different dimensions. So you can give for research and innovation. You can give for community welfare. So we have 3 schools running on campus. A couple of them are for people who are not from the lower end of the society. We can expect resources in infrastructure, School of Medical Science and Technology, new departments, some labs have to be upgraded, and so on. You can give for student benefit like scholarships, travel grants, other kind of fees support, and so on. And finally, you can also support faculty members through chair fellowships or travel grants and distinguished lecture series. So I'm going a little faster, but whosoever interested, please get in touch and we can give more details. So there are many different packages, I could say, for giving back. We have annual giving. So generally, people donate us every year during tax saving time. There are batch initiatives. When batch like you come together for their union, generally they decide 1 or 2 cause for which they pledge certain amount. We run several campaigns, distinguished lecture series, or sometimes helping some alumni, and like that. There are department-specific campaigns. You know that institute has a very popular counseling service, which is becoming more and more critical for the students. So this counseling service has also grown, and there are certain batches who have supported counseling service and other health-related health center and other health and wellness initiatives. You can also decide on planned giving, where you can make IIT Kanpur a beneficiary in your shares or in your will. So that is also possible. You can support R&D facilities at IIT Kanpur. And finally, we have started a new initiative called MAGIC, Monthly Annual Giving for IIT Kanpur. So this is mainly targeted toward young alumni who are just starting their career, just graduated. So they can start donating a small amount of money like an SIP, which will grow as their 25th reunion come. But soon we will open it for all the alumni, so that rather than thinking about donating very large amount in one time, you can donate small amount regularly. So as I said, there are batch initiatives. So some of them are listed here. So for example, we have gym upgrade, museum, some of the infrastructure projects, some scholarships, PBCEC, and this outreach also has been supported by alumni batches, and a lot of them. We have also started looking at corporate engagement because one of the roles of DORA is also to get corporate social responsibility funds and to improve infrastructure. So already we have a lot of corporate partnership, and this is for CSR, not for R&D. R&D is totally different. So we are engaging with a lot of industries to help improve the infrastructure. But at the same time, we noticed that there is a lot of duplication. I mean, DORA office or IITK DF goes to these industries as well as Dean R&D or faculty themselves go to the industries. So we came up with a new initiative called Samadvay, where we invited corporates to visit IIT Kanpur. Most of the corporates are not even aware of what different initiatives are going on in the institute. So we called these people, we had some panel discussions, we had a stall where 50 plus stalls were set up by different departments as well as Technopark, SIIC and others. So this was very well received by the industry. More than 50 corporates joined, and now we are in the process where these corporates are working on R&D projects as well as CSR projects with the institute. So when we get all these funds from alumni as well as CSR, it is very, very important that the stakeholders know how this fund is being spent. So we have donor reporting and stewardship. So we submit fundraising reports to the batches, how their fund is being collected, how it is being spent. So some of the batch members become coordinators, and they are given regular updates, which they can share with the rest of the batch. We give regular reports for different projects and programs which are sponsored by donors, and we give utilization certificates. Typically, all these reports are sent once a year, but depending on donors and sometimes other requirements, we can send it quarterly, half-yearly, or annually. So here is the statistics for this year. We had total 335 programs supported by donor initiatives by 261 number of donors, out of which already 320 reports have been sent, which is about 95%. Remaining 5% we are working on. So yeah, sometimes people do not obey the deadline, so we push them to finish it. And for bigger projects, we have total 70 projects, and here we are doing good. All 100% reports have been sent. Also for individual donors who are sponsoring some scholarship or awards, we conduct a session called IIT Converge, where we bring together the person who has established the award and the beneficiary. So our goal is that when students learn about the person who has set up the award, understand their motivation behind setting up award, in future I think this student will also come back and start some award. So these awards are generally in the memory of some near and dear ones or some famous academician and so on. So we conducted more than 32 meetings, and 34 donors were engaged, and we got very good feedback about these meetings because donor also feels pleased that yes, somebody is getting advantage of what they have committed to the institute. So just to give a summary, this is the overview of the funds that we have raised. So as you can see, since IITK DF has come up, we have much more focused on fundraising. Earlier it was like part-time job for Dean. Okay, but now it's a full-time work for a Section 8 company, so things have improved. So last 3 years, we are raising well above 100 CR or around 14 million, 15 million per year, much above that. So some of our major donors, these are all our alumni. So I'm just going to go over them quickly. Oops, not so quickly. Okay. And finally, I just want to introduce the team of DORA, which is the Dean of Resources and Alumni Office. So we need a large team to support all these activities. So DORA, then IITK DF, lot of these people are here. So say hello to them. And Alumni Association. So generally Alumni Association, it's a distributed body, it's not on campus. So you can see Babita ji around probably, and others are mostly outside campus. So thank you everyone for listening to me. If you are interested in being a mentor to students, please sign up for AIM, Alumni Inspired Mentorship. There are some cards, or this QR code is there. And do subscribe to our social media channels. The institute has social media presence, DORA also has. And if you have any query, anything, if you want to connect, please write to my email address, dora@IITK. So I make sure that I respond to all the emails. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to call upon Professor Manindra Agrawal, Director, IIT Kanpur, to kindly address the gathering.
Okay, good morning. A very happy new year to all of you. I can recognize some faces in this. I think some of you would remember me from your student days. कुछ का तो रैंक किया होगा मैंने. All right, so here I am after so many years as director of the institute in front of you. And I've been discussing audio. Well, audio seems to be. This is one perennial problem of IIT Kanpur which has never been solved, and I'm not sure if it will ever be. Maybe if we should not solve it, we should just let it be. It's working. Good. So I took over as director in about 8 months ago, and since then, I've been discussing with within the campus as well as with outside stakeholders as to what the institute should do in next 5 to 10 years to make significant progress, which has crystallized into this vision for the institute, and that's something I want to share with you. First, it's a kind of a mixed situation right now. There are good parts and bad parts at the institute. If we look at the good ones, well, we have still very good infrastructure. There are some aspects of the infrastructure that need to be addressed, which I will come back to later. But still broadly, most of the buildings are still doing pretty well. The greenery on campus is also actually even better than what it was in our student days. So that's probably the variety of animals is also more. I don't think I ever heard of a leopard in our student days, but now we do. Academically also, we have many of our departments doing very well, as you can see here. In terms of numbers, there has been a very significant growth. The number of faculties, 570 now. In our times, it used to be around 300, so almost doubled. Number of students has gone up 4 times. We have crossed 9,000 now. Of course, alumni base keeps increasing. And like I said, some departments have been doing well. So that's the positive side of the institute. But there is a negative side also. It's clear that we have a problem of perception. We are not what we used to be. I think everybody you talk to will say, who knows the IT of the old, IT Kanpur of the old, and now will say that no, we used to be better earlier. And there are concrete data points which can allude to that. Let's say the national ranking of the engineering colleges, where IIT Kanpur is no longer number 1. We typically come at number 4. There is also even stronger data point of top 100 JE rankers. Earlier, half of them would come to IIT Kanpur, today none comes. It's a very stark difference. So this gives rise to, of course, concern among everyone, all the stakeholders, particularly senior alumni who think and say also sometimes that you guys have messed up. We left the institute at a very good place, but something went wrong somewhere. When you dig things up, there are concerns about research being done at the institute when vis-a-vis other institutions. The teaching is also, again, for teaching we compare with the 30 years ago, the teaching then and the teaching now. So there are concerns there as well. Digging even deeper, one can start looking for reasons for this. One of the reasons which is mentioned, and it is true to an extent, is the locational disadvantage. That Kanpur as a city has remained unchanged, whereas metro cities have made very significant progress in terms of things to do and possibilities of enjoying life, so to speak. Also employment opportunities, because these days for a faculty, the spouse is also a professional oftentimes, and Kanpur as city doesn't offer many opportunities. This is not true in case of students, but students also tend to think that, okay, we, given a choice, see, for students it was always the case that they would, earlier they used to come to Kanpur despite it being in Kanpur, because it was head and shoulders above the IITs. Today, when it is no longer the case, then the other factors become important. So a city also starts playing a role. So that's the locational disadvantage, and then there are other things that one can dig up. Our research infrastructure comparatively is not as good. So we can either learn to live with it, okay, this is what it is, and so this is where we will be, or we can try to do something about it. So I am a believer on the second part, that is, let's do something about this. Let us see if we can address this issue. And to address this well, we need IIT Kanpur to distinguish itself from other institutions in some very important dimensions. Earlier, when the times were different, it was a couple of things, couple of very important ones. One was computers, because IIT Kanpur initiated the computer science programs in the country. We had one of the first computers on campus. We always had that lead in the computer science domain. Another was teaching, outstanding teachers used to be there, and comparatively with respect to other IITs, the teachers were much better. So there was a certain aura about the institute in the outside world which motivated the students to join. Now, today, we probably cannot have the same factors working, because when we talk about computers, well, everybody has all kinds of computers, and now the advent of clouds, I mean, you really not much you can do about stealing a march on the computer's aspects. So we need, and teaching is also not, I would say teaching is important, but the other aspect, which is research, has become equally important over time. It wasn't so 40 years ago, but it is so today. Because the expectations of society from institutions like ours have changed. Earlier it was just train the next generation. Now it is train the next generation and also develop technologies. So the strategy, therefore, for us to distinguish ourselves has to be a new one. It cannot be the earlier one. And so what should that be? Again, since we have to distinguish ourselves, it should be somewhere a dimension where we are doing well and we can aim to do very well, but other institutions are probably not there yet. And that's what led to this conclusion that let's adopt a key strategy which can lead us. If we do that, execute that well, it can lead us to where we want to go. This is about translational research. Now, translational research, for those of you who are not familiar with the term, it's essentially about taking the technology demonstrated in the labs to a stage where it can be deployed in the outside world. Traditionally, Indian institutions have not been doing this well. Unlike, say, top institutions in the US, the MITs, the Stanfords, the Harvards, they are not only known for their basic or fundamental research, equally or even more so known for the technologies that have come out of those institutions. This is not the case in India. You hardly will find technology which is in common use having come out of an Indian institution. So that's a drawback of institutions in India, but it's also an opportunity. So what I propose is that as an institution, we focus in this aspect. We are not short of talented people. What we need is reorient ourselves to an extent and work on this aspect. If we do this well, it will certainly change our perception, because the outside world, when it uses the technologies developed by IIT Kanpur, certainly will have a very positive view. It will also create an alternative source of funds for the institute, which is equally important, because these days the government of India has been saying that the 5 old IITs are now mature enough that they should be able to generate their own funds, and government funds would go to the newer IITs because they need it more. For IIT Kanpur particularly, if we work on this, then I just talked about locational disadvantage. We have a locational advantage here. How's that? That's because if you are developing technologies, which obviously you want that to have deep impact in the society, in India at least. So you have a technology that you want to do a test or trial run. All you need to do is to step outside the gate of the institute. The world of common people is right there. So we don't have to travel anywhere to do such trials. Metro IITs have a disadvantage because they have to travel quite significant distance before they can execute this. So if this strategy, therefore, allows us to completely change the perspective about the locational disadvantage, it provides us, our location provides us an advantage. It has a lot of potential to change the perception about the institute. And not only that, the timing for that is also right. Because if you look at the state of UP, today its basic infrastructure, law and order is well sorted out. The state government is very keen to develop the state industrially. A lot of major industries in tech space have started setting up in the state. And it is clear that, the state has a very ambitious target of becoming a $1 trillion economy in next 5 or so years. That can only happen if tech industry comes in big way in the state. And that process can be supported by IIT Kanpur because we are the preeminent technology institute in the state. And state government has a very high opinion, thankfully, of the institute. And they are very keen to develop this partnership. In fact, just a month ago, I met with the Chief Minister and proposed to him some of these ideas, and he said immediately that here are a couple of my key officers, you please work with them and to develop a plan. So we can, if we, again, reorienting ourselves towards translation research, technology development and translation will fit in very well with this larger ecosystem that is developing around us. And if that ecosystem develops around us as a state, if the state makes progress, then Kanpur city will also get closer to the metroid cities, and which will help us in other ways. So that's the key or the main strategy. But in order to execute this well, we need other things to be also settled. Because translational research can only happen, good translational research that is, can only happen on the foundations of strong basic research, because basic research is what you do in the lab. So unless you do some interesting things within the lab, you cannot take it out. So a strong traditional or basic research foundation is essential. Now, just talking about research is also, I believe, not sufficient, because we had a tremendous name for teaching. I think all of us remember till date, not just names of professors, but the kind of lectures they used to take, and some of the courses, the learning from that still we carry till with us. That kind of teaching, although it still exists in pockets, there are still faculty members who are outstanding teachers, but at a scale that is no longer there, I would say. Many reasons for this. Faculty time has got divided because attention has gone more into research side. Students also, as a demography has changed, their expectations have changed. They can have access to all kinds of lectures on YouTube. So to engage their attention, one needs to go beyond just this earlier simple blackboard lecture, and one needs to innovate there. So the part of the strategy that I propose are these two as well, but the key pillar being the translation research. So 3 pillars, the key one being that. And in translation research, it's not that we are starting at level 0. There are already some very interesting things happening on campus, and I'll give you some examples of it. One is a center in cybersecurity, which is today developing solutions in cybersecurity and deploying them. The solutions, the Security Operations Center developed by this center is deployed in National Highway Authority, Indian Port Association, is about to be deployed in the Bhilai steel plant, managing cybersecurity of all their operations. There is a blockchain-based data integrity solution that has been deployed in Karnataka. It has been used. It is being used by many institutions to give a self-certified degrees. So overall, this center is doing very well in translation side. Another center which is focused on using AI to create interesting solutions. That also has multiple deployments to its credit. One is an intelligence grievance management system. This is, for example, today deployed in the Prime Minister's office, which receives tens of thousands of grievances uploaded every day. And they are in different shapes and sizes, different languages, audio, video, written text, handwritten, typed. And it parses through all of them, extracts the relevant information, and gives out actionable points to the officers. Another solution developed by them is deployed by National Health Authority to detect insurance frauds, and which is leading to substantial savings to the NHA. Given that we have a very strong aerospace department and an airstrip, it's not a surprise that we have a very strong drone program. And there are at least 2 faculty-led startups here. Both of them are doing extremely well, supplying the developed drones to armed forces and elsewhere. Then many of you would be familiar with the foray of the institute in medical school side. So we have a super specialty hospital allied with a med school coming up on campus. Along with it, there is a significant initiative in the medtech space in developing engineering solutions to health-related problems. One of them is development of an artificial heart wall, LVAT project. This has been going on for about 2 years now, and they have made very significant progress. They're about to start the animal trials for their device, which is fully developed in-house. And as we go along, as the med school comes up, this collaboration between the clinical and engineering side is going to get even stronger. So these are the activities which are already underway. Now, in order to expand on them by at least an order of magnitude, what I propose to do is to create a technology transfer office directly under me, whose task would be to help the faculty take the technologies from their lab and make it deployable, and also to look at the problem statements from outside world and bring them to our faculty to address. So once we have that, then the other aspects of taking the solution to the market, you've already heard about the Forest and Technopark, how they are structured to make this happen. Another thing, very important thing about this, the things that we are doing and are planning to do, is to talk about this to the outside world, which is very important in today's days. Now, we already have a media cell whose job is to inform the outside world what is happening on campus. So I'm bringing the media cell. In fact, I've already brought the media cell directly under me, and also recruited two of our senior alumni who are in the media space in the country to advise us on our media strategy. So with the help of these two, we are planning a media campaign which will help us inform the outside world of the things that we are doing. So that's the plan. Now this plan cannot succeed without the faculty participating in it, because it's them who will develop the technologies in their lab and take it outside. Now to achieve this, it will require a change, as I said, change in orientation from many of our faculty. Not all faculty need to do the translation research, but several need to. So the question is, will they? Because faculty, the way our system is structured, director can only request the faculty, he cannot order anybody. Each faculty has complete freedom to do what they want to do. So I proposed this idea to our faculty, had a discussion with them, and then I conducted a survey, which was an anonymous survey to get honest answers. That what do they feel about technology transfer office, and also will they be interested in working with it. So here are the results. I got 362 responses, that's about 60% of the total faculty strength. And the good news is that about 2/3 of those respondents said that it's a good idea and they would like to try it out. About a quarter said it's a good idea, but they are happy doing what they are doing. And there were a small number which are not particularly impressed. But this 2/3 of 60% gives an absolute number of 250 plus faculty members who would be interested in this. And that's a very big base to start from. Even if half of them eventually do, I think we'll still do very well. So that's a very big show of support from our faculty to this idea. The Technology Transfer Office is going to be established, it's already under the way paperwork, so it's going to get established this month. Now, I said that translational research cannot happen without a strong basis on foundation of the traditional research. And that is somewhere, that's a place where we are, again, relatively not doing so well. Here is a data point. If you look at publications coming out of the 5 old IITs over past decade and plot it as number of publications per faculty per year, then you will see in 2014, 10 years ago, IIT Kanpur was almost at the same level as other IITs. 10 years down today, IIT Kanpur is way below other IITs. Everybody has progressed, but relatively we have not progressed that well. So this raises an alarm bell over what's happening. Some would argue that, okay, IIT Kanpur focuses on quality research, therefore number of publications will be less. But unfortunately, it doesn't stand to scrutiny, because if you look at citations per faculty per year, which is a rough measure of the quality of work, not perfect, but rough, we are still at the bottom. So clearly, something is not right here. And if you trace it back, the reason why, because it's not that we used to be very good, clearly the best in research also in 20, 30 years ago. So the things that has changed was, there was a pivotal moment in around 2008 when OBC reservation was done in the student intake, and in order to increase the infrastructure, every IIT was given a very substantial amount of funds. For some internal reasons, IIT Kanpur did not use any of those money and actually returned it. And other IITs used the money to expand their infrastructure, including research infrastructure, substantially. And the money that we returned, they used that also to further expand the research infrastructure. So we lost out doubly there. And the impact of that is being felt increasingly now. We are, of course, trying to make up for it, but it's always a relative comparison. I mean, while we are making an effort, other IITs are also making an effort. So we are not relatively progressing. So we need a significant investment in this side, because without this, the plans will not really fructify. So it's easy to identify the targets here, recruit high quality faculty, create state-of-the-art labs, recruit high quality students, bring large R&D grants, focus on quality. So these are easily definable targets, of course not so easy to achieve, but these are things that we know how to do. And finally, coming to teaching, as I mentioned that teaching today is not what it used to be. Things have changed. So what we really need is a analysis of how things are changing, how the teaching or engagement with students should change. And to achieve that, I am proposing to set up a Center for Education Research and Teaching Excellence, or CERTEX in short, which will be tasked with conducting research in the pedagogy, come up with new teaching tools, share all of this, get the best teachers available on campus, have them share their experience with the younger faculty, and also focus on improving soft skills and technical writing skills of students. So I propose this also to our faculty, because the assumption anytime you propose such a center, the assumption is that we are not teaching well, or we can do better, which is something which is fraught with danger when you propose it to the faculty. So I included a question in my survey to faculty on this also. Again, thankfully, almost 3/4 feel that this center is a good idea and they are going to benefit from it. So which is very heartening to know that our faculty realize that they need to teach better, and they are willing to seek external help for it. And there is all, of course, as expected, there were some who think, yeah, it's a good idea, but for others, not for me. And some didn't like it at all. Now, but when, as director, I ask our faculty to focus on translation research or focus more on teaching, a natural question that arises is, what about career progression? Because for a faculty, the career progression today in our system is defined by the research, the traditional research that one does. How many papers you have published, how many PhD students you have graduated, how much research grant you have brought in. Now, if somebody is focusing on teaching, probably the publications will go down. There's always a finite amount of time available. Somebody focusing on translation research, same thing will happen. The publications will go down, maybe the number of PhD students may also go down. So, Apart from, so one, along with proposing these two ideas, I also proposed to our faculty that we'll create 3 different career progression tracks for these 3: traditional R&D with the usual one, translation research, and teaching. And a faculty needs to excel in one of the 3 for guaranteeing career progression. So this was also made as part of the survey. And the responses were quite interesting. About more than half liked this idea. About 40% said that it's an interesting idea but needs a lot of debate or discussion, and some didn't like it. So this was done in August. So last few months we have had already that debate. All the departments were involved, 3 committees were created for 3 tracks, then they collected all the feedback. Then all these committees sat together, and they have now come up with 3 distinct career progression tracks. And that is going, today is 3rd, right? 5th, 2 days from now, there is a board meeting of the institute where this will be put up for approval. So I hope that we'll soon roll this out. Now I'll come to the campus infrastructure, that in order to again achieve this, like I said, our R&D infrastructure is not as good. In fact, not just R&D, we need other infrastructure as well. Today we have more than 9,000 students on campus, and if you honestly count, we have 7,500 beds. But since we have to squeeze in 1,500 extra students, we put 3 beds in a room for 2, or 2 beds in a room for 1, which is seriously suboptimal because hardly gives space for students to move around, leave aside teaching, studying. So we need urgently to create more hostels, and I'm targeting adding 4,000 beds over the next 3 years max. Because that will not only address the shortage, but will also take care of the future expansion. Not only that, it would give us some buffer to address Hall 1, 2, and 3. I don't know if you have visited Hall 1 yet, but it is kind of not in very good shape. A structural analysis of the hostel tells us it will live for another 5 to 10 years, not more than that. So we effectively need to tear it down. I can already see faces there. But we'll rebuild it on the same location, but 6 floors this time. But we'll keep the external facade the same. So that when you come in next time, you can go to your room and recognize, okay, this is my room. Okay, so we'll also need more recreational facilities for students. And again, size has grown up. We have very good facilities, but seriously inadequate for the number of students we have today. Central library needs to be completely reimagined. Nobody reads books these days. So you need to get rid of the books and create interaction spaces, study spaces, discussion spaces. And sustainability is another thing we need to be now seriously concerned about on campus. I have set ourselves a target of creating a net zero campus over the next 5 years. Let's see how much we succeed, but we must do something about this. We are, consuming a lot of resources. Now, how does alumni help in this plan? 5 ways. 4 are listed here. The 5th one is coming in the next slide. 1, provide feedback on this plan. So this plan that I have has been evolving over the last 8 months based on the feedback I have been receiving. Many of you are very well established in the industry where translation research is the bread and butter. For our faculty, this is a little new space, so a help there, knowledge transfer, connections, etc. will be useful. Amay has already talked about the third dimension, which is engagement with students. And fourth is, of course, fund some of these tasks or targets that we have. In fact, I have something very concrete in a slide, 2 slides from now. And the fifth is regarding the institutional ranking. So this QS ranking, which is, has become de facto standard across the world, it has a 40% weightage to perception of the institute. And this perception is determined by a whole set of people across the world about what they feel about the institute. So, and we are allowed to give names of people who they would contact. So my appeal to all of you is, just please scan the QR code and register yourself with our system if you agree to receive this email from QS and provide feedback to them. So that would certainly help us in getting a, it's a bit cheap way of improving the ranking, but one has to do everything. Okay. Now, so I have set myself a target of raising $600 million over the next 3 years. This is required to fund the initiatives that I have planned. A break of that is the following, and this is a computer science lingo. The hardware at the bottom here represents the brick and mortar and equipment, and that's split, as you can see. It's about $265 million, residential, student activity, or instrumentation, and so on and so forth. The middleware, which sits on top of the hardware, which provides which enables interesting things to happen, that's about $200 million. It includes technology transfer office, the whole incubation expansion. You have heard about the ambitious plan Professor Philip would have shared with you. The Certex, sustainable bankers, and also includes hospital. So when I say I have set myself up this target, part of this target is has been achieved by the previous administration, because we have received about 40% of the funding we need for the hospital. And finally, the top layer, that the application, that's the translational research domains that we want to expand and make an impact on. I've already talked about the AI, the drones, the medtech, the cybersecurity, 4 domains where things are already interesting, things are happening. And another very new upcoming thing is quantum technology. Under National Quantum Mission, the Institute is going to receive funding. Then we have a Kotak School of Sustainability set up on campus with the target to develop sustainable technologies. We are our groups are today working with the Kanpur city to design, develop, and hopefully deploy a end-to-end solid waste management plan for the city. So those are the kind of technologies we are aiming to develop and help deploy. So that's about $130 million. So that's makes 600 million. How do we get this money? Well, 40% of this money I will raise from government, internal resources. It helps that RBI governor is our alumnus now. Okay, 10% we'll get from CSR funds. There is already activity happening on the CSR side. Half of it I'm hoping that our alumni will contribute to. Of this, 10%, that is of 600 million, about 60 million is already committed. Like I said, hospital and other initiatives, they are already partly underway, so those commitments are available. So when it comes to alumni, it's 50%, that's $300 million over 3 years. That's about 5,000 crores rupees. That seems like a very large sum of money. But if we have a large alumni base as well, if you divide the money that we need, no, not 5,000 crores, about 2,500 crores, 300 million. If you divide it by the number of alumni we have, what it comes to is 2 lakh rupees per alumni per year for 3 years. So that's seems an achievable target. And that's what I'm hoping that I will get support from our alumni to help us achieve that. And together we can, I'm sure, I'm confident actually, that we can transform this institution. Thank you. I don't know if we have time for questions. There is a lunch, I don't know. Lunch kitne baje hai? Shweta?
So we can take few questions.
Okay. If there are some questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you very much. It was a very sobering realization for all of us I'll not mince my words, at the sad state of affairs. When we entered IIT Kanpur, it was number one, and we graduated proudly with that feeling in mind, right? We are the best in the world. Now it doesn't seem to be so. I have a couple of questions for you. There are alumni who have done very well in the academic fields. A couple of names come from my own batch. Sanjay Sharma from MIT. He has done some excellent academic achievements, right? Rohit Verma comes to mind, who was tapped on the shoulder to create a very good university at Vietnam. And we had our last reunion at Vietnam, and we saw what he has created. Question for you is, have you been receiving inputs from them? Are you engaging them? They have done so much of good work in this area. You don't really need to reinvent the wheel, come up with new thoughts. They know the institute, they know the area, they know the domain. Have you been engaging them to get...
Specifically not these two, but I have been engaged with a whole wide variety of alumni across the batches. In fact, what Amay mentioned, the distinguished alumni meet in Goa and New York, the entire focus was on this. We spent almost a whole day in Goa, actually more than a day in Goa, and half a day in New York on this only. And these are all very high achievers who, just as you pointed out. So we are getting feedback. Of course, we would love to get more feedback. That's always great to have.
One of my pet subjects has actually been bringing technology to Indian languages, and I know Government of India is also doing some initiatives in that regard. Are we looking specifically at IIT Kanpur, which can be a very leading institute in, both in your translation technology issue, but also in the curriculum and teaching in making technology access much more widespread and democratic across the language spectrum?
Yeah, so there is a multi-institutional project currently underway, funded by Government of India, which is, I think it's called Bharat GPT, which is essentially create an Indian language version of ChatGPT, a large language model for across multiple Indian languages. And IIT Kanpur is playing an important role in that. There are other efforts in teaching. I think Amay, your Sathi is also running in multiple Indian languages, right? So Amay runs this major Sathi project where from school to college level children are given targeted courses online, and they are also available in multiple Indian languages. So yes, I mean we are focusing on the Indian language aspect so as to make the knowledge available to a wide spectrum of students.
Hello, my name is Avinash, and I have a quick question. Thank you so much for such a comprehensive debrief. I'm keen to know what is the students' take on this? What are they looking for when they come and choose an IIT? Is it skill employment opportunity? Is it going to US and getting a scholar? Or with the India story, is it like supporting getting a startup? What is that the student will get into IIT as the first choice?
Today it is primarily the job. There are very few students, I would say less than 5%, who go outside for higher studies. Mostly take up a job within India. And not many do startups either, as things stand today. That's slowly changing, but very significant majority still goes for a job. So it is, if IIT Kanpur or any institution provides much better jobs, the students will flock there. But that's unlikely to happen. You know, this top IITs, the training-wise more or less are similar. So you will find that more or less their placement is also similar. There will be differences, minor differences though. So I think that the way for us to distinguish ourselves would be to do some unique things, which others are not doing. So,
the library being either toned down or pulled up or whatever. So what is going to happen to all the books?
no, we are not tearing down library. I think anybody who touches library will be excommunicated from the institute. So that's an iconic building. We are not touching that. But the books we are scanning, most of them, and putting it down, making it accessible online. And there is a, somewhere we'll deposit them. Yeah.
The reason why I brought it up is because IIT Kanpur actually was at least in our time, was one of the best libraries for the collection of technical science and even humanities books. And see, the world's biggest universities have some of the best libraries. And IIT Kanpur being a premier Indian institute, the library is a very important aspect, so that's why I had this question.
Well, unfortunately, nobody reads books these days, especially the hard copies. People read books, but they'll only read it through digital media.
So I'm Rajiv Joshi from the EE side of things. So you talked about translational research, and this is makes a lot of sense. And I actually worked in this kind of environment, and that's how we built up our company out of Stanford. And one of the questions I think people struggle with is taking it to TRL 7
or more, yeah.
Right, especially TRL 8, 9.
Yeah.
And there has to be a demand from the industry as well, right? So really my question is, what is the perception and the expectation of the industry from the institute or institutes? And how's that changing? Because I think we used to hear that that wasn't the case, in our times here, right? But maybe things have changed.
Yeah, so there are two parts of this answer. One is that industry in India is only slowly getting towards developing, focusing on technology development. Until recently, they were simply importing technology and then manufacturing and supplying. But an even more important aspect of that is that industry in India doesn't have faith in Indian institutions to give them timely solutions. And for good reason, because whenever they have tried, our faculty has just taken too much time to respond to it. So that is something we need to build. So in my view, right now, we don't need to wait for industry to come. We should identify some impactful technologies and develop it ourselves. Let's take it to TRL 7, then industry will come. So initially, we have to invest. Unlike in the US, where there is a co-investment. From TRL 4 onwards, it's a industry and academia work together. We have to first, at least on major technologies, we have to take it to TRL 7 ourselves. And then the perception would change. Yes.
Okay,
Now we can, yes.
Great, great. So Manindra, I know you from our undergraduate days. And thanks for sharing your vision today. I'll do my part in making it a reality. But what I want to say today is that IIT Kanpur has always stood for academic excellence. And you are one of the best IIT Kanpur has produced. And by devoting your life to the service of this institute, you have made a huge difference. And I'm immensely grateful to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks. No question.
See, we have a lot to be grateful for. How many times do you see the best join, IIT Kanpur and devote their, whole life to the service of the institute? So I hope more people will follow in your footsteps, and that is what will take IIT Kanpur to the #1 slot in the future. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, Manindra. So I completely echo what Susan just said. Question for you. So it seems like over a period of last few decades, we have diversified into other areas. Like there are many other departments that have come on, and medical school, and this greater focus on humanities. Do you look at this as a boon or a bane? Because on one hand, it's good to diversify into other areas and have the institute be more balanced in terms of the kind of students we produce. But there is a risk that we could lose focus, right? So there's a balancing act that needs to go with it. So what's your take on it? How are we doing with respect to that?
So if we look at the areas we have expanded into, except for the med school side, other ones are very very close to the engineering part. It's just whether it is, let's say, design or cognitive science or space. So these are newer domains of where the technology and engineering is deeply connected to. The med school is the only one which is radically different, but again, I would say that if you look at, again, the US example, all top schools have med school and engineering school together where there is a healthy interaction among the two. In India, we have this somewhat bizarre situation where the med schools are completely disjoint from engineering schools. There is no back and forth. And that is reflected in the situation where we don't have any medical device you can name which has come out of India, because there isn't any possibility of that happening. No therapeutics have come out of India. No drug design. I mean, it's this any space that needs collaboration. It doesn't happen in India. IIT Kanpur will be the first one to do this. So I think it's again great idea. But I will just qualify my answer here by saying that this is all great in theory. But there is a very important implementation aspect to these ideas. If we don't execute it well, we can end up with a millstone around our neck. And that's where we at times have been faltered. We have faltered in some of the departments, recent department we have set up. But it's not, let's say, not everything is lost because it's only recent thing. So there is time to fix that, and hopefully we will fix it. Yeah, absolutely. And also, what we are planning is that will be only a master's program in the med school. And that master's program will also not be the typical one, let's say, offered in AIMS. It will be heavily technology-infused program. So the doctors who get trained here will also understand technology much better. So later on, they can do much better job of that integration.
Hello. Hi. So, yeah, my question is on the campus placement. Neeraj here.
Neeraj.
Yeah. So, how many, like our time, we easily used to get like one or two offer. What is the ratio now? Like the whole class. And the reason I'm asking is can IT Kanpur think about like a better co-op project, like placement to attract more student here, and that is area we can, probably help by hiring 3, 4, whatever to our capacity, like IT Kanpur people in our respective companies.
Yeah, that's definitely you can help there, absolutely, by hiring more people from IIT Kanpur. But now the placement, because the numbers are very large, so the placement policy is that you get a job and you are out of the placement. So it's not that a student can get more than one jobs through placement. This time we just concluded the first phase of placement where more than 1,000 students got a job out of about 1,300 students who have registered for placement. So there is still about 300 students who are not placed. Now we'll run phase 2 from now the semester begins, the phase 2 will start. So we expect another 100, 150 to get jobs. And there'll be small percentage that always have a challenge in getting placed for various reasons.
Is it still mostly IT companies hiring, or it is like all across?
No, this is the fraction of non-IT companies is increasing with time. So the IT space is no longer that coming that strong. In fact, probably the one set of companies which are greatest in demand, and they do hire quite a few, are these investment companies. They do this modeling, and they take the students for that purpose. Model, invest, come up with investment.
Thank you, Maninder.
You said, sir, industry has lost confidence on institutes like IIT Kanpur's Minister of Studies. So you said that we will be working on your own to find out where the technology gaps are there. So, Niti Ayog is one such institution where they have well-defined gaps. They have done some kind of a model.
Yep.
They take in inputs from various forums. So, what the kind of areas that you are going to choose? Will you be in touch with the Niti Ayog, or so you can be able to advertise that these are the areas we are working on, so that industry as such can also contribute? Yes, we would like to be associated with you.
Yeah, absolutely. We are working with the government is going to be critical here because the most impactful set of problems are with the government, and they are the ones who create those priority lists, and then we can work with them to identify the challenges there.
Hello, my name is Rajesh Arora. My question is about the perceptions and specifically the global 100 rankings that you mentioned. So how can we work ourselves up among that ranking list? And one particular criteria that I remember, it was mentioned in one of our, I guess, our 25th reunion, was the international exchange program. So I would like to hear, what headway we have made in those.
Yeah, there has been certainly significantly more international exchange. We now have a Dean of International Relations Office, and we have close to 100 students at any time on campus from other countries. But this will always have a limited impact in terms of ranking, because again, talking about QS ranking, the internationalization has a 5% weightage. So you can only do that much within that. Again, I'll come back to the perception. Perception has 40% weightage. That's like huge. So if we want to improve our ranking, the best strategy there also would be to improve our perception. How do we improve our perception? Well, if 3 deeply impactful technologies come out of IIT Kanpur across the world, the perception will shoot through the roof.
I want to say something. In our time, IIT Kanpur was considered best because of the PPP. One of the best institutes to come. Placement was good, and faculty was good, and good research facility was also available. So this is the thing that builds perception, especially for a new entrant. And as said, international exchange program is now another thing. So like this, the new entrants, how do they perceive about the institute? So that will pull the good, best rankers, top rankers. And when others interact with the top rankers, they improve. तो ये दोस्तों से हम लोगों ने बहुत ज़्यादा सीखा है. I'll agree. मैं first 500 में नहीं था, but I've learned a lot interacting with my friends. So I suggest कि हमारी जो facilities हैं IIT कानपुर में, that should be improved, especially in instrumentation, material science lab, and medical lab also. But I have a doubt. 2 years back, I had opportunity to interact with Director IIT Kharagpur. They have made a medical school, a very modern hospital, but they have not been able to open it because of the certification issues. So has these issues been resolved here?
No, not yet resolved, because we're not yet reached that stage. We are on the right now. The hospital building is coming up. We are still year and a half away from starting the hospital. So, and we were very right that we can start the hospital. That's relatively easier. But then to get the certification to start a medical program will be a challenge. But one, we are not starting in MBBS, unlike Kharagpur, which focus on MBBS. So that, I think, is something we are doing different. So this will have easier passage, hopefully, for approval. And also, one thing we are going to do is, in the management and running of the hospital, we are not going to do ourselves because we don't know how to do it. We are actually going to partner with one of the better known hospitals in the country to run it for us. and then they can help us with other aspects also. So hopefully, we'll see how it unfolds, but I am reasonably confident that we can get those approvals.
Sir, that is the management part, but I'm talking about the certification by MBBS
I agree.
DPR, because in conventional medical colleges, जो भी है IMA probably Indian Medical Association, so that gives approval and उसके बाद कुछ होता है. So they are very reluctant in giving the certification on this medical college degree देने के लिए for engineering college. That is the problem with IIT Kharagpur. That's why दोनों के बीच में कुछ tussle चल रहा है, and that has not yet been solved. इसके बावजूद कि वहाँ पे जो गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल है, रेलवे हॉस्पिटल, उसके साथ उनका टाई अप है फॉर स्टार्टिंग विथ, बट दैट इज नॉट गेटिंग स्टार्टेड एंड ऑल द मशीनरीज एंड इक्विपमेंट्स एंड उनके जो मशीन्स हैं वो अभी 2-3 साल से पड़ी हुई वैसे ही पड़ी हुई हैं. सो
I did mention this part, but let me reiterate. So to get the approval from IMA, let us say, who sits in IMA? Some of the best doctors of the country together sit and decide. So if some of those doctors are advising you on how to go about things, the life becomes easier. And that is the case with us today. We have Dr. Devi Shetty, Dr. Now I'm forgetting the name. Some of the best doctors in the country are on our advisory board. They are telling us how to go about things.
So will it be in the same academic area or separate academic area will be there?
It's within this academic area.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, I think I'm being told to wind up. Thank you everyone for joining in. Okay, last question.
Sure.
Last question.
So, Marindra, thank you for this presentation. Some of the ideas really hit home. I think that a lot of things seem right, seem to be on the right track. I have two questions. The first question is based on my experience interacting with different students from ITK that I have hired. And one thing that I realized is that as in our time, the ITK curriculum was strong in classical engineering courses, but the curriculum needed to be modernized. So wanted to hear your thoughts on that as to any activities that are going on, right? That will modernize the curriculum. The industry has changed a lot, right? A lot of new things have come up. So that was question number one. And question number two is that for all the research infrastructure that you mentioned, one of the prerequisites is a compute strategy. So what is the compute and cloud strategy that that ITK has, right?
Okay. So I'll answer the second first. That's easier answer because we have one of the country's best compute infra on campus, and we are going to add up significantly more compute in next year or so. So from that perspective, we are well set. For curriculum, we have a continuous revision of the curriculum that happens, and we do adopt to the industry, but there is always a lag. We don't offer industry-specific courses. We stay focused on the fundamental concepts, but keep updating that because as new domains open up, those domains need to be incorporated. In fact, now we are planning, hopefully we can roll it out from next year to make a basic AI course a core course for all students in first year. So those are the kind of changes that we are bringing into our curriculum. So, but there is the one thing that we do lack, and we have been lacking forever, I would say, is hands-on training. We are still too theoretical. And the addressing that is non-trivial. It is because we need faculty also who are willing to make that happen. Maybe with this, if more faculty are doing translational research, then that aspect will also get addressed. Let's hope so. Yeah, we have now very well set program of professor of practice, where we actually get people working in industry, don't have to be PhD, join as professor of practice, adjunct faculty, and many other ways. Sure. Thank you.
I would now request Mr. Vivek Mudgil and Mr. Harsh Vinayak to kindly come as the batch representatives of class of 1989 to kindly address the gathering.
Good afternoon, everyone. Respected director and esteemed members of ITK administration and my dearest friends. भूल गए. I'm truly honored to be standing here today at this place. I'm back to this place which shaped me to who I am today. And I had thought of telling what I felt about IIT Kanpur, having spent not just 4 years but 14 years in the campus doing my PhD here. But given that we are running late on the lunch, I would just like to limit myself to thanking IIT Kanpur for hosting us here, and thanking Dora Office and ITKDF for the great arrangement that they have made and the smooth functioning of this whole reunion. Thanks, everyone, and thanks all of you for coming.
All right. 30 seconds. So first of all, thank you for having me on the stage here the second time in like 3 weeks, I think. And you can judge, I didn't know that I would be here because I was out somewhere getting my tea. So I don't have a speech. All I want to do is tell you that get involved. Yeah, I have been involved with IIT Kanpur now for the past maybe 15 years once we returned back to India. It has been immensely rewarding. You become young again, truly, I'm telling you. And it's amazing working with the students here, the SIIC. So just get involved. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would now request Mr. Kapil Kaul, CEO, ITK Development Foundation, to kindly come up and deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Shweta. The last one between you and your lunch, so I'll keep it short. I'm really honored and to be here offering the vote of thanks for the end of this ceremony. I'd begin by thanking our director, Professor Manindra Agarwal, for coming, joining us, spending time with us, and giving us an overview of his vision for the Institute. Gratitude to Professor Amay Karkare, Dean of Resources and Alumni, who shared with us the whole gambit of activities that Dora Office is doing. Gratitude to our colleagues from SIIC and Technopark who shared the details with their respective units that they run within the Institute with all of you. My gratitude to my colleagues and teammates who've been working hard to ensure that these reunions happen seamlessly and ensure that we do a good job on this. And most importantly, gratitude to you, all of you, the batch coordinators here, Vivek and Harsh, for the way they've been spending time with the team, all of you, your families, for taking time out and coming back to campus and being with us. Thank you so much. And we really look forward to having a good time with all of you on campus. You relive your memories and let us know if you need anything. Thank you so much. Thanks. So we'll proceed for the batch photograph now.
We would now proceed for the batch photography. It's outside at the PE ground. Request you all to kindly proceed. Thank you.